Welcome, everybody. This is our first ever episode of Squad Talk, and we are so excited to have you all here. Hello, Corielle. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you for having me on your very first episode.
I'm thrilled to have you on our very first episode. So if you're tuning in for the first time, this is Squad Talk. And it is a weekly live talk show where you're going to get to meet some amazing entrepreneurs, like my friend Corielle Heath here. Some of the women that you're going to meet are going to be running 7 or even 8-figure businesses. Some of them have built companies that have IPO'd, meaning they're publicly traded on the stock exchange. And others are still early in their journey and kicking butt and are going to have stories that you can relate to and learn from. So these women are here. They're going to share their stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And they're going to answer your questions, which is what makes this so fun. You can ask your questions live and you can participate in the show. So Squad Talk is special because when you're watching Squad Talk, you're also part of the action. So every so often, I'm going to ask one of our guests, like Corielle here, a question that I want you to answer to. And these questions are called Squad Talk Confessions. So whether you're watching the show live or you're catching the replay later, the goal of Squad Talk Confession is to answer the question quickly and honestly. Do not overthink it. Just speak your truth and post the comment in the Q&A below. So let's get started. So today's show is going to be a really great one. It's our first one. And the theme for today is collaboration. So this is something you know a lot about, Corielle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the name of the game for my business. We are a big global alliance of women entrepreneurs. It's all about collaboration.
Fantastic. So like what we've discovered ourselves here at Squads is that women just seem to be wired for collaboration. And one of the reasons why so many women are thriving in business is because they find ways to work together and leverage their peers. And, you know, as I've always said, small groups of smart women can change the world. And that's why we've created Squads. And we are definitely not the only ones who feel this way. There are some amazing women like Corielle and her company who are really like believing in the power of collaboration. So let's introduce you to Corielle. I'm just going to give you her quick bio here. So Corielle is the founder of LiftUPLift, which, like Squads, is all about collaboration. LiftUPLift is an early stage e-commerce platform where you can buy women-made products from all over the world. It's sort of like Etsy meets Pinterest. And if you're a female maker, you're going to want to hang around until the end of today's episode because I'm going to be sharing a special offer with you. So let's welcome Corielle to the show. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very happy to be here, and I'm representing for all of these women-owned businesses in our Makers Alliance.
Awesome. Well, tell us about where you are right now. It looks like you're in a beautiful space.
Yeah, it's a co-working space. So again, perfect for the collaboration theme. This is a space called Grind. It's my favorite place to work. I'm based in Chicago. The company's based in Chicago. And we are actually, you know what, I will even point out the window for a second here. I've got a beautiful view of Chicago out in front of me.
So nice. So I'm going to put Corielle on the spot, but luckily I gave her a little bit of notice about this because this is something that we women and any early entrepreneur really needs to master. So what I'm going to ask Corielle to do is to give you her 30-second elevator pitch to introduce you to her company. So without further ado, can you tell us a little bit more about LiftUPLift? Give us your 30-second elevator pitch, Corielle.
Yeah, absolutely. I love elevator pitching. Okay. So LiftUPLift is a global peer-to-peer e-commerce platform where we are closing the gap between female entrepreneurs and consumers worldwide. We have a global alliance of women-owned businesses working alongside us, collaborating with one another, all on a mission to empower women around the world as entrepreneurs, as consumers, and as allies.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, collaboration truly is the name of the game.
And if people want to find out more about LiftUPLift, where should they go?
If they're interested in joining, if it's a woman-owned business who wants to get involved or open a store, they can go to liftuplift.com/VIP, or just go to liftuplift.com and you can start browsing the site and find more information about me and my team.
Fabulous. So let's just jump into the good stuff. I know that there are probably lots of women entrepreneurs watching today that are wondering how you came up with this amazing concept, what made you want to take action. So can you tell us about your aha moment that inspired you to create LiftUPLift?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a huge movement here in Chicago. Women entrepreneurs are coming together to overcome some of the specific challenges and barriers that we all know women entrepreneurs face, specifically finding funding for their business and getting access to markets and capital. And so I saw this movement happening around me and was very inspired by the individual women that I was meeting, and wanted to do my part to support them. It was as simple as that. So I was trying to put my money where my mouth was and purchase their services, purchase their products, and do the real work to support them with my wallet. And it was hard. It was taking a lot of time and energy to go out and find them and shop from them. And this transaction was not, it was just not easy. And it needed to be easy because women supporting women is why this movement is happening. It's why we're seeing a tidal wave of female entrepreneurs rising up. It's because we're working together. So I went looking for something like Etsy, but for women-owned businesses. I was sure that it would be out there. I was sure that there was a one-stop shop where you could browse products from women around the world and easily purchase from them all in one place. And there was nothing like that. There wasn't even a directory of women that sell or serve consumers. And so I was like, well, I can build that. And it was just that moment. I was like, I can do that. I should do that. I'm going to do that. And I started immediately. A few weeks later, I left my full-time job. I was working as the director of marketing for a woman-owned business at the time. So, I gave them plenty of notice and helped find a replacement. And then I dove headfirst into this. I started connecting women entrepreneurs, using Facebook groups to do it. And we started building a marketplace, which we finally launched this past year, just in beta. And it's grown incredibly fast ever since then, which really speaks to this movement that's happening, that women are supporting each other. We're creating the opportunity that we want to see for ourselves, for one another, and for the next generation of women.
Congratulations. I love it. I'm all about just like having the idea and figuring out what's the first step, how can I take action on this, and just going for it. Because, it's too many good ideas die because people just don't know how to take the first step. So good, like that's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, what is the big picture vision for LiftUPLift? What does when you've hit the top, what does that look like?
So part of the inspiration for the company was the knowledge that women are the world's most powerful consumers. Mm-hmm. As entrepreneurs, we're having a hard time accessing markets and capital, which is sort of ridiculous because women are the ones doing all the shopping and there's no easy way for them to shop from women. And so I saw this huge opportunity for women to solve a two-sided problem for one another on a global scale, simply by connecting in this one marketplace where women could use their purchasing power to accelerate female entrepreneurship and create more opportunity with their wallets and the power of the purse. And then female entrepreneurs at the same time could create a new consumer culture that really and truly represents women and inspires girls to be all that they can be. And I think we sort of have a toxic consumer culture at times for women and girls. And I think that the reason for that is simple. There's just not enough female perspective out there in the business world.
You and I definitely agree on that. We might have even read the same article because I was looking at some of your stats you were sharing, and there's a really great long article by the Harvard Business Review that talks about how 85% of marketing executives that are creating campaigns to sell to women are men, and 8 out of 10 women feel mismarketed to, which is kind of a problem considering women control 85% of all household spending. So imagine how much more money everybody would make on a global scale if women felt like they were being marketed to in a way that actually resonated with them as consumers.
Yes.
It's just, it's mind-boggling when you hear those numbers, yet the changes aren't coming quick enough. So we're on the same page there.
Yeah, I probably saw the same Harvard Business Review article. And women do about $28 trillion in spending every single year, which is just an unfathomable amount of capital. And so much of that is is just going right above or under or around, but not into the female economy. And it's the female economy that truly needs it, because women have a lot of catching up to do when it comes to business ownership, which is so crucial to women's empowerment overall. Plus, the coolest part is that women are actually creating products that are innovative in ways that serve women better, in ways that, men just wouldn't even think of, serving needs that men aren't even aware women have. Like one of the newest businesses to join our alliance makes a non-toxic tampon. And I met this woman at Tech Week. Non-toxic tampon is an innovation in 2016. It's just, that's a ridiculous thing itself, but women making products is good for women and for humanity, I think.
I 100% agree. So let's dive into our first Squad Talk confession question. So ladies, if you are watching this, ladies or gentlemen, if you are watching this, whether you're seeing it on our landing page, you see the comment stream below, or you're watching direct in YouTube, we want to hear from you on this question too. So I'm going to ask Corielle the question, and I want you to answer too. So what is the biggest fear that you have had to overcome to grow your company?
Well, I am extraordinarily passionate about every single business that joins our alliance, and I am afraid of, letting them down. I truly come to love each of the entrepreneurs that I work with, and so it just, sometimes I feel like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, that, success is so much more than me and LiftUPLift. It's, it's about doing right by the community we've created, and they deserve the best.
And so how has overcoming that fear helped you to grow?
Well, I struggle with this fear every day still, I think. But I have to keep reminding myself that this is about being authentic, that every entrepreneur shares this experience. We all sort of feel like we have the weight of the world on our shoulders, and being able to connect and share those experiences with each other is really, really powerful. And I just, speaking my truth, and by listening to other women, letting them speak their truth, we really have empowered each other and helped one another find greater balance.
I love that. Okay, tell us more about what collaboration means at LiftUPLift. And just to give me a little context, Corielle reached out to me months and months ago, and she told me a little bit about LiftUPLift, and we had an email exchange. And it wasn't until recently that we connected and got to talk more. And it was very quick that we realized we both had the exact same outlook on how big the potential can be when women work together to help each other amplify their message and just, get more visibility in the market, share the messages. We can work together and all win. And so I want to hear though more about how because you've taken that to the next level at LiftUPLift. And I think you could really inspire some of our viewers about how to use collaboration as a strategy in your business.
Yes, definitely. Well, so I think part of what we're tackling in a big picture way is the fact that our culture sort of positions women as competitors. There are so many messages that teach women to compete for superficial things like beauty and attention from men. And that's just, it's not only extremely toxic to each individual woman, but it really holds us back. So what I'm trying to do is reposition us as allies, because women really do have so much to gain by working together. And we, collectively, women need more power. And so we are allies, whether we realize it or not. Every woman who gets stronger uplifts all women everywhere. That's just a fact.
Tell me about some of the tactical ways you've done this. Break into what that actually looks like in your business.
Totally. Okay, so LiftUPLift is a two-sided business, actually. We have a for-profit company, which is our marketplace, and then we have a nonprofit that's dedicated to ending violence against women, and they're fundamentally interconnected. So a piece of every transaction that happens on LiftUPLift helps fund this nonprofit. So both of those two companies are all about creating cultural change through collaboration. And so on the marketplace side, what that means is that by combining your products, all with, from all in one marketplace with women around the world, each individual business dramatically expands their overall market reach and earnings. It's as simple as that. We are stronger together. And of course, they make it easier for women to find products that serve women and messages that elevate women. On the other side, we have our primary goal for cultural change is to eliminate rape culture, essentially. And that's by training and educating each individual member of our business alliance to be an advocate in her own community, and take effective steps to prevent sexual violence and domestic violence, and also, build awareness of the issues that surround sexual and domestic violence. And so, again, it comes back to each of us acting individually and together at the same time to create a movement, a cultural shift.
I love that. And I know that you posted something recently. We're Facebook friends, and I saw you post something about your own experience as it relates to the new president-elect in the US, and actually offering some tangible solutions for women that might be feeling scared, or women that might have dealt with sexual violence or like inappropriate touching and things like this. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because like you're clearly the kind of person that doesn't just say stuff. You actually take action and you help other people to be part of the movement.
Yeah, I sort of pride myself on that. I don't like to complain. I like to create change. And I was really upset when this country, my country, elected Trump to office, because he's an admitted sex offender, and it's just ridiculous that we are somehow tolerating that. So I shared my own experiences of having been groped. I shared an experience of having to intervene on behalf of a friend who was being groped, and all of these things happening in public around other people who either didn't know how to help or just didn't care to. I'd like to think it's the former, that we really need to teach people how to recognize signs of sexual violence and do something about it and take action. So when I was at university, I was trained as a sexual violence prevention educator. And I would go to, like sorority houses and fraternities and teach them exactly that, teach them how to recognize the signs and how to effectively intervene and prevent before it happens. So I've adapted that training material for the general public. And I've decided that through our nonprofit, we're going to start offering at no cost trainings for the public, for anybody who is interested in taking action in a bigger way, in preventing, not just for themselves, but watching out for one another. And so again, it's back to collaboration. It's all about doing it together.
I love that. So how can people find out more information about that?
So, LiftUPLift.org is our nonprofit, and they can find more information generally about that. But this is actually the first time I'm announcing that we have set a date for the first training. It'll be here in Chicago at a co-working space called Creative Co-working that is woman-owned. It'll be on Sunday, December 12th from 1 to 4 p.m. So anyone who is interested in participating, I will be posting on liftuplift.org a sign-up form this afternoon right after this call. And anyone who is not in Chicago will be able to join via video conference. So if you're, even if you're outside of the city and you still want to learn and get those lessons, go to liftuplift.org and register to join the video call.
That's fantastic. So anybody who's watching this who has friends in Chicago, let them know about this amazing event. And if you want to participate and you want to come on the virtual call, go to liftuplift.org so that you can sign up. Yeah. That's awesome. So let's dive into a lot of our members here at Bendy. They're different styles of businesses. We have service providers. We have people who are selling physical products, such as a lot of your members within LiftUPLift. And then we also have what we call infopreneurs, or people who sell information as their product, things like online courses and ebooks. Yeah. But like speaking specifically about people who want to sell a physical product or know somebody who's selling a physical product, is there any advice that you can give, having watched, what works and what doesn't, to help them to, get success faster? What are some of the tips and tricks for selling physical products that you've seen?
So I think the very first thing to do is market research. A lot of companies, skip that step. Don't skip that step. Put a survey out there. Go out and talk to people. Understand the real why and the need for your product. And that will also help you set the right price point and understand who your target customer is. So really learn as much as possible before you make major investments in anything. It just, at the moment you have that idea, figure out where you can learn more, go out there, try to find the person that you think would need your product the most, and learn, listen to them, ask good questions, gather the knowledge that you need to be a successful creator. And then a lot of it comes down to finding the right partners, which is something that we have, added on as a part of what we offer to LiftUPLift makers, because so many of them have struggled to find everything from marketing to legal to accounting to manufacturing help, and getting involved with the wrong partners can be so damaging, and getting involved with the right partners can be enormously helpful. It can be the key to success. So we have, in our 1 year in business, worked with a lot of different service providers, and we have a directory of trusted partners and service providers for all of these things, so that we can help point businesses to the right people, so that they can focus on what they do best and outsource everything else to someone who will do it best, who will do a good job and do right by the business. And all of these preferred partners offer their services at promotional pricing for members of the LiftUPLift Maker Alliance. So if you're interested, if you need to hire a lawyer, for example, I strongly encourage you to join the LiftUPLift Alliance first, because it pretty much pays for itself immediately.
That's awesome. And I love that you took the two pieces that I think a lot of people gloss over. It's that they get an idea and then they just immediately want to create something. But oftentimes you can create such a better product when you put the time in first and you do that customer research. And we're actually working on a 5-day challenge that we're going to be sharing in the next couple of weeks to help people with that. And I hope that we can share it with your audience as well. Absolutely. And any of our members who are looking for, to get more, if you're a service provider, it sounds like that's such a great opportunity for them to find people who are a complementary skill set and to hire each other.
Yes, definitely. Even though we're a marketplace for products, we have many service providers that have joined our business alliance specifically for that reason, that they want more clients that are women, like-minded women who are all sharing this mission to uplift one another.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're moving right along here, and we have our next Squad Talk confession question. So if you're just tuning in, a Squad Talk confession question is one where I'm going to ask Corielle, and I want you to answer too. So if you're watching on YouTube, answer in the comments below. If you're watching on our landing page, there's an area there for you to answer. We want to hear from you and get your feedback too. So here is the question, and this is one that is a good one. If you could wave a magic wand and grant one wish in your business right now, what would you wish for?
I would create more of, I was about to say I would create more of me, because because I just don't have enough time in my day, but that's actually not what I need. I would give us an infusion of capital so that I could hire talented team members who have different skills than me. I actually don't need more of me. I just need to be able to do what I do best and outsource all the rest. And I've found the people that I would like to hire. It's simply getting to a point where I can afford to pay them, which is a huge level up from where we are right now.
That's something that is, a lot of our members struggle with as well. Now, some of them have more established businesses where they have teams, but a lot of them are solopreneurs. And, I've been a solopreneur myself. I know those unique struggles. And one of the ones that I think a lot of people often gloss over, it's not just having somebody else to do the work. It's having somebody else to help talk it out. Somebody else who you can share an idea with, who can give you that objective feedback. Because I often find, for me and for our members at Squads, when you get stuck in your head, you can burn so much time chasing down ideas that aren't the right ones, or spinning your wheels and doing nothing because you are seeking some sort of validation that your ideas are right. And all of that can be fixed just by talking to some smart person who understands your business. So it's That's a pain. That's definitely a pain point for any solopreneur, but there are people out there that are willing to help. And in our case, Squads is a place where you can find those people. And as your business grows, hiring the right team is just so critical.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't rush that either. I've spent a lot of time seeking out the right team members who share my vision and who will give as much care to each of these businesses as I do. And so, in the absence of a magic wand, collaboration has been the backbone of what we do and how we've grown. Because I'm not necessarily a solo founder. I do have other team, but I'm the only full-time team member of LiftUPLift, the only one who isn't working another job. And so I rely on just being able to ask for help, and give help in return, and sort of exchange support with the other businesses who have different skills than I do. And we grow together that way.
That's fantastic. Okay, so I find that this is always a really juicy question. I think that we can learn from each other's mistakes. I know that I've made a lot of them. And so one question I love to ask other entrepreneurs is, since starting your business, what is one mistake that you've made that you think other people can learn from, that they don't help them to not make that same mistake?
So this is a really practical one. I can think of so many mistakes that I've made, and a lot of it has simply been like, I just need to mature. And, being a business owner is tough, and you have to learn by making mistakes. But the thing that I wish I hadn't done was to crowdfund without any preparation. I was just like, oh, crowdfunding, that could be cool, and just launched a crowdfunding campaign. And it was sort of destructive, actually, because once you do launch a crowdfunding campaign, that campaign is out there forever. It never goes away. And by jumping into it without being prepared, I didn't have any of the people in my community prepared to support me along the way. I really hadn't. I just set myself up for failure, and now I sort of like carry that failure along with us. Whenever somebody Googles LiftUPLift, they go to our failed crowdfunding page. And it really wasn't a failed effort. It was, one of the mistakes that I didn't know is that you need to set a goal that you can achieve. And I did not know that. I was like, I'm going to set a really high goal and hope we get there. And we raised a lot of capital, but we didn't raise $50,000. So yeah, I think
that's really interesting. I participated in a crowdfunding campaign that was organized by a third party. And I think that, when it comes to these crowdfunding campaigns, I think that they ultimately you're right. They require a lot of preparation. It's a launch. Oh my God, yeah. And you can jump into it quick and dirty and see what happens. But in our case, we were one of 10 female-founded companies that got selected to participate. And there was tons and tons of PR being done by the organizer, like driving people to these campaigns. But we were all individually required to do our own promoting as well. And we raised a little bit of money, but we certainly didn't hit our target. And I think that we relied too much on the organizer, thinking that they were going to drive the traffic. It's like anything in business. And I think that this happens far too often to entrepreneurs, is that we have this mindset of build it and they will come. And that's like, I'm all about build it and try to get them there. But like, you have to think, I think that thinking about how you're going to get that traffic needs to always monopolize like 70% of your time in the early days, because you can always iterate your product and make your product better. That's going to be happening always, but you can't get enough data of what to improve if you're not getting enough traffic from people that are using your product. So it's like, how can I get people there? Constantly be asking yourself every day, how will I get people there?
Yes, that's perfect advice. That's the thing that, if we had been prepared for the PR piece of it, or realized really how important it was to drive our own traffic there, we would have had a lot more success. I relied on the platform itself. I was like, oh, there are people trying to back crowdfunding campaigns. They'll just find us and back us. I did everything wrong. In fact, if anybody is interested in crowdfunding, I encourage them to reach out to me directly, because I really love sharing, what I learned through my mistakes. And I've been able to help a few other businesses in our alliance crowdfund successfully because of it. That's
a great success story, because one of my mentors says, what is the exact quote? He says, when you don't succeed, you learn, or something. Like, like ultimately, like there's you never fail, because the information that you glean is so priceless that it saves you from making mistakes down the road. So like, not succeeding at something, ultimately you can take it as a win, because now you know what not to do. And that saves a lot of time the next time.
Oh yeah, I am a firm believer that the only way to fail is to give up. I'm sure that there are practical reasons that something might fail, or you can choose to just fail forward, as you are, a big proponent of, which I also think is a beautiful thing. But otherwise, just continue to learn. Every mistake that you make, every failure is that it's an opportunity to get stronger. Yeah, love it.
So this one is a question that I think that everybody needs to have a squad of entrepreneurs that they lean on, people that they can go to with specific questions, who understand their business, who can give them contextual feedback. And so I want to know, who is on your squad, and who do you really lean on when you need help?
So I'm actually going to make another announcement right now, because I have been struggling or sort of working to bring together this huge and unfortunately too divided movement of female founders, networks, and communities in Chicago, because there are so many. I have so many different communities that I'm a part of that are squads for me. And they're all sort of operating independently, and I want to see them working together in some way. I want to see more collaboration happening between these groups. So LiftUPLift has sort of spearheaded a collaboration with several other women's networks in Chicago, and we're going to be launching Chicago's first female founders co-working collaboration space. In the next year. Yes. And so I hope that all of these different groups that I'm so blessed to be a part of are able to connect to each other all in one space.
And you know what, that is such a great insight, because the truth is that it is very siloed. There are a lot of wonderful organizations at the local level, at the national level. I mean, we're here in Canada, you're in the States, and we all have very similar goals, which is, how do we help women succeed? And how do we help women to overcome some of the unique issues in business that women do face? And can we do that together? And I love your approach is just, okay, like we all have this similar mandate. Let's work together, because the more smart people you put in the room, and the more you can bring these smart people together, we can make even bigger impact and even bigger change. So I'm excited. I have to come visit Chicago and check it out once it's all set up.
Yes, you so do. You can come anytime. We would be thrilled to welcome you here.
That's awesome. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost wrapping up here. But before we go, if anybody has ever seen Family Feud, I want to do a Family Feud style. We'll call it a speed round. So I'm going to ask Corielle 5 questions, and I'm going to set a timer here. Timer being set. And she's got, I think, she'll have, I'm not doing the math here. She'll have 30 seconds to answer these 5 questions. And the whole idea is just getting like the top of her head thoughts. So, timer. Should have had this set up in advance.
No worries.
1 second. Okay, so speed round. 5 questions, 30 seconds.
Hit me.
So what is one app on your phone that you just couldn't live without?
Google Maps.
Good one. If you were on death row, what would you have for your last meal?
Oreos. Just straight up Oreos.
Business idol?
Oprah. She's Chicago's business idol.
What is the most important skill that an entrepreneur needs?
Optimism.
Stop. So we didn't get to the 5th one, and that's good for me to know that I probably can only get in 5, or maybe these questions are a bit too long, but optimism, I love it. So now we all know a little bit more about Corielle. The last question I was going to ask you is a toughie. What is your favorite business book?
Oh. It's not a business book. I'm actually going to plug this because it's written by a woman and it changed my life. It's called Why Men Love Bitches, which is the worst. I can imagine her pitching this book to a publishing company as like, why men love women who love themselves. And the publisher's like, no, we're going to call it Why Men Love Bitches. But it really is. It's all about, you know, everybody in your life will love and respect you and uplift you if you simply are able to get to that point where you love and accept yourself unconditionally. And so many of us make that really simple mistake that we don't, and then we wonder why others don't either. So yeah, Why Men Love Bitches. Go buy it. It's the bitch Bible.
You just gave me goosebumps. Wow. So before we let you go today, Corielle has put together a special offer just for our audience. So I wanted to share that with you. So any woman-owned business that joins the Global Alliance with LiftUPLift before January 1st as a founding member is going to get some special benefits. So you're going to get a specialty pricing. You're going to get about $100 knocked off the join fee. Plus you get, the cost is $199. Typically it's $299 to join, but you're going to get a special offer of $199. And in that you get $99 back that you can spend inside of the community. So if you're planning your Christmas shopping, you want to, you know, be part of the alliance for yourself, whether you're trying to grow your service-based business or you're setting up your e-commerce platform and you want to get your products out there. Basically, it's $99 because you get the other $99 back to spend, and it's the perfect time for that.
Totally.
And one of the other nice things about LiftUPLift is that the commissions that they take on sales for sellers is really low. So it's only 5% of your sale versus typically, which is 10%. And in other platforms, I know it's even higher. And you're going to get a founder maker badge on your LiftUPLift store. So a few bonuses for anybody who joins. If you are, you know, this is a lot of information to take in, do not worry. Just make sure you're on our email list because we're going to share this promotion with all of our members. So as long as you're on our email list, you'll get the details. So to get on our email list, you can go to Squads.vip/list and sign up so you can make sure you get a chance to get on there. Well, Corielle, this has been just such a treat. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad I got to be a part of your very first show. This is an amazing thing. I can't wait to hear future episodes.
I'm excited too. This was easier than it's not,
yeah.
It's fun to do. It's great to be able to interview people from all over the world. And so now we can do a Q&A period. If anybody is still on that wants to ask some questions of either myself or Corielle, we'll get that going. There's a slight delay when using this platform, so it's not immediate. So if you have any questions, post them now. And it might take a few seconds before those questions are seen by us. But I'll just read, Corielle, some of the feedback that we've been getting so far. So some people that have been chatting, Kat's part of our community. She says, heck yeah, to making big impact and change. Mena says, Chicago, what? Karen's got a great quote here. She says, failure is impossible. So I love that quote. That's fantastic. Some other feedback. We've had lots of comments throughout the session. Anna says,
and good questions.
Anna says, this is Anna, and she makes jewelry at AVP Jewelry and Beads. And is she a seller on LiftUPLift?
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Awesome. So Anna, if you want to check out Anna's stuff, go to LiftUPLift.
Yes.
And we may not have any questions today. I'm just refreshing to see if there's anything new. But if there are no questions, then we can just call it a day. Oh, there's one from my mom. She says, you are both very amazing. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. I love it.
All right, ladies. Well, this has been the very first episode of Squad Talk, and our guest, Corielle Heath, the founder of LiftUPLift in Chicago, a e-commerce marketplace for women-made goods. So if you're planning out your holiday shopping and you want to support other women, you know where to go. And we'll see you next week when we do our next episode. And our guest next week is going to be Vicki Saunders. She is a personal mentor of mine and probably one of the most inspiring women I've ever met. She's created a global movement for funding female companies. So it's called Radical Generosity. And she's now launched this all across the world. They're just about to launch their Australia model. Before doing this, she, did a few things, built a company, sold it, it IPO'd, so she's got some skills. So tune in next week and get introduced to Vicky, because it's going to be a good one, especially if you yourself are currently raising money or are interested in potentially raising money for a venture in the future. You're not going to want to miss this one. And Corielle, thank you so much for being our guest today. It's been fantastic.
Thank you. I will end by saying, one of my personal mantras, which is so simple: what we can accomplish together is so much greater than what we can achieve individually. And I'm so happy to have you and Squads and to bring these communities together, because we really are. We're changing the world. We're living through it, so we don't always see it, but the world is changing because of all this hard work that we're doing together.
Amen to that. To collaboration.
Yeah, to collaboration.
And it sounds like both the Squads community and the LiftUPLift community have some new exciting collaboration opportunities coming. So if you're not a part of either of those communities, you should be, because there's new stuff coming your way.
Join us.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.